Often in our job as salon owners, it's like we're not going to get along with everyone.
No.
But there's no reason we can't be kind to them.
It's not just about fostering their ability in what they do, but it's also fostering who they are.
As I said, the purpose part is my biggest accountability. And I just have people in my corner that is always encouraging me. And
Like, what are the little things?
Yeah.
yeah,
Because
you don't
all
need
of the little micro things
Yeah.
are what make a difference.
now I look back, I'm like, well, that was small. But actually, if you do that every month and it all stacks up every month, like we're now at $108,000 that we've been able to give. But it all started with that $600.
That's why there needs to be more people in this world that are doing that, because, you know, generosity builds more generosity.
I want that sort of environment for my children.
Yeah.
But how can I be part of that solution
Yeah.
for other people's children?
You can still
Yeah.
lead with love. You can still have good conversations, and hard conversations are often the best conversations.
I always walk out of here feeling so good. And I was like, as long as you all walk out of here feeling so good, I'm doing my job right every day. Before we dive in, just a quick little love note from us. If this podcast has ever made you laugh, cry, think, or feel seen, please hit that subscribe button. It's the easiest way to keep the magic going, and it helps us land more incredible guests for you. Go on, back your girls, subscribe now, and let's keep rising together.
Welcome back to the Inner Sanctum, Salon Rising, the podcast. Hey, Sam.
Do you know what it just made me laugh was back in the day when we used to change our clothes.
Oh my gosh, we used to change our clothes in between
Because
episodes.
we didn't want people to think that it was the same day. It's absolutely the same day. Like
we just knock these puppies out.
totaling these so that they can go out to you. My girlfriend said to me this morning, hello, Bridge, again, another podcast dedicated to you. She was like, when are they weekly? And I was like, bro, this is a love job.
Oh,
this is
no.
fortnightly at best. Sometimes I want it to be monthly, and Richard says no.
No, we cannot do that. There is only so many that we can fit in. Not fit anything else in. No more, Bridget, fortnightly. So I'm really excited about this guest that we have on the pod today. So Nicki, whose surname I am not going to try to pronounce, from Salon Purpose, has flown up to join us today. Thank you so much for coming, Nicki.
Thank you, guys. I feel so honoured to be on this podcast. So this is my first ever podcast.
We're
so
popping
I'm
her
excited.
podcast cherry.
And the way we found each other was, I think you'd commented on something and then I jumped on your page and I was like, whoa.
It's such a cool concept.
Whoa. Before I was like, and I messaged and said, I want you on the podcast, which I love doing. I love finding people that, you know, we haven't connected with yet and just being like, your story is super cool.
Yeah.
Come on the podcast, come and tell people about what you're doing. And then that's how this happened. And then I didn't do anything else. Richard made it work.
And here we all are,
Yeah.
sitting in the same room, ready to share some of your journey and your story. Because I was saying to you before, I was really bummed that I couldn't make it down for the first day of Industry Day for the AHC, because I knew that you were speaking on the panel there.
Yeah.
And I was really looking forward to hearing what you had to say.
Now we just get to hear it.
Now
on
we get to-
live.
now
It's
we
so
We
get
can
good.
dive so much deeper on this podcast
Yes.
because the hair festival panel was awesome, but it was short. So
Short
Yeah.
and sharp.
Whereas we get a
can dive
more
in. juicy
version of
version.
it. Okay, so maybe we can talk about some of the things. I know what I noticed straight away when I sort of started going down the rabbit hole of finding who you were and what you were about. But what was it that made you send that DM, Sam? Is it like the concept?
It's absolutely the concept. Like I know I
Yeah.
was talking to Bridge.
Oh,
Mate, do you want to
Bridget.
come on the podcast, Bridget? Because you just seem to get talked about all the time. My friend, who's our biggest supporter, I was talking to her about it this morning, and I was like, it's doing things differently and and it makes sense now. You and I
Yeah.
were just talking about church, so it completely makes sense to why you are this way.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, oh, we're even more aligned. This makes so much sense.
I mean, the key word, right? Purpose.
Purpose.
And we talk about purpose all the time.
Yeah.
And you can see, okay, so let's talk about
Yeah.
Salon Purpose and the purpose of Salon Purpose.
Yeah. I think that's probably one of the most asked questions that I get is from our clients probably is, what is the purpose behind Salon Purpose? And our purpose, the purpose word for us. It's not just a buzzword.
Yeah.
And I think so often it can get thrown around in all different industries about we're purposeful. We do things on purpose. But for us, it's actually so deeply rooted in who we are. And it is many things to us. And I think in this conversation, it's not just the finances, which is what I spoke about on Hair Festival.
Yeah.
But actually, how do we have purpose within our salons that we live and breathe it, so our clients feel it, our staff feel it, but people who are in other countries like Uganda feel like they're getting, something from us when they're never even going to meet us. So it's so many things, and we can dive into all of the things that we do, but I think it's all centered around how can we lead with heart? How can we all be heart-led salons? And I think that is probably at the core of what we do is, just having heart. And the purpose will flow. The fruit flows off all of that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So how did you take us back to the beginning and how this, like, I want to know this journey unfold, because people are listening to this being like, yes, amazing, but then they're like, hold on, what? So I think we need to explain what this actually means for you, because it's not just, we do talk about our purpose and our why, but I think so often, as you said, we get a little bit lost on who we are as humans and what are we doing? What's our purpose as humans? What are we doing? What are we doing all of this for at times? And
I feel like this is big picture purpose.
This is big picture purpose. Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say, first and foremost, it's to give ourselves, for all, I always say, like financial safety in our lives, so that we can make choices for our families and our kids and our salon and our business. But once you kind of get there, what's next?
Yeah. So I guess if we want to just pair it all back to how it started, I was just saying this before to Jen, is I've only ever had one other job other than I worked at a bakery and a pizza shop for a very short amount of time. But I worked –
my dream job.
Yep, it was great. I worked for someone for almost 19 years. So I did my whole apprenticeship. Everything I learnt within one employee, which was awesome. She taught me everything that I know to date. And then when I left there, it was at the start of COVID, so 2020, and I thought, how can I – the first thing I wanted to do was – my why has never changed. My why has always been, if I'm not going to be working for this woman and that salon, then what am I going to do?
Why did you leave?
Why did I leave? Is I wanted to spend more time with my kids. I've got 2 young kids, and at the time they were 7 and 5, I think. I could be wrong there, about that age. And I just felt like I wasn't around enough. And it always came back to my why. What is my why? Is to spend more time with my kids.
Are we the same person?
Possibly.
She's saying words I say all the time. I just met my counterpart. I love this.
But the how is always different. And so for me, I knew that I could do hair. That to me comes really easily. I'm very efficient. I believe I'm a pretty good hairdresser. And so I knew I could grow a clientele pretty quickly by doing good hair. But I also needed to keep in mind that I wanted to spend time with my kids. So I started in a 15 square metre salon at the back of my home. And my husband, who I absolutely adore, who challenges me often on many things, said, if we're going to do this, it has to look nice because you need to grow a clientele. And if we're doing this, it already has to look like you've been around for a while. And what I made sure I did from the get-go is I tried to do things with integrity. So I didn't just leave a salon of 19 years and go, hey, everyone, I'm working from home now. I think that's really wrong, and I didn't do that. I took some time off hair. I took my long service leave, and then I started from home. And I attacked the school mums. I thought, this is my thing.
Even in that, for anyone that's listening and has been a listener and eventually wants to do this, the integrity part is, especially when you've had a wonderful career with somebody who's supported you, who has, built you to who you are, has, supported your family, because I think that gets lost in the end. The integrity part in how you handle that is huge, because it's not just, you that'll feel great afterwards. It makes a huge difference to the person on the other side that has been the one that's, held everything together, and the integrity part of it makes a massive difference to how everything feels afterwards.
Yeah, 100%. And you can control what you do, and that's all you can control.
Yeah.
So for me, I thought I am going to attack these school
And
mums.
like you said, I just went in for the school mums. I didn't need anyone else because I was just
didn't.
going to go hell for leather on the school mums.
I knew my target, and that was them. So my husband built me this beautiful little salon. It started with 2 chairs, 1 portable basin, and from the get-go, I invested heavily into. When I say invested heavily, I guess in nowadays when we think of I've got a salon in Manly, it's not investing heavily. But at the time, in a little salon at the back of my home, I thought I was investing pretty heavily in I need to make myself look like I've had this salon forever.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I had the marketing down pat. I got a what do they call it? Not interior designer, a designer. What am I
Graphic
thinking?
designer.
Graphic designer. A graphic designer to help me with a few little things. So on our Instagram, we looked really professional.
Yep.
But I look back on it and I think, oh, that looks really cute. But yeah, so it was good. We took off. But from the minute I opened my doors, I thought, how can I do things differently? And from that moment, my husband and I, we brainstormed. We didn't even have a salon name. So we thought, what can we have our name so it's purposeful? Because what I knew is we've always given as a family, but I knew I wanted to give in my business. My husband is a builder, and he does giving through his business, and my sister-in-law, they have an electrician business. They give through their business. I thought, perfect, I'm going to give through mine. How can we find a name that is purposeful? And we just couldn't get past Salon Purpose.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where the name came from. And at the start, it sounded wasn't rolling. I was like, Salon Purpose, a bit weird. Is it a bit cringe? Is it what? But after a while, it started to sound really familiar.
The other thing about it is it keeps you on your path because
It's the biggest accountability
You can't,
holder.
you can't go back if you've got yourself Salon Purpose.
It's written everywhere.
Yeah.
And from the minute we opened our doors from my opening week, we started off with what I called the With Love campaign. And I had no idea 5 years ago that this would be something that I still do. And I made a decision that every single client that came through the doors, and they were all new pretty much bar 12, that $25 from their service we're going to give back to them to give to a charity. And it was so cool because I think we were still in COVID times. So we were doing people's hair that lost their jobs, that were really struggling. And I felt like the shift that I witnessed in that time of giving someone back money to go, hey, give it to charity. You choose. Here's our charities that we're giving to, and you get to give it back. And they were just like, oh. And even though it wasn't their money, it was my money, but it made them feel like they were doing something really good.
Yeah.
It was just so cool. And I think in our first With Love campaign, I gave $600. And at the time I'm thinking,
That's massive.
that is massive. Over 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That is really cool. And that just set me up from success on the outfoot because everyone was talking about it. And it was so cool because people would turn up to my house looking for this Salon Purpose, with all this cool marketing and photos of inside the salon that looked beautiful. And then people would turn up to my yellow brick, unrenovated sash windows, rusty pipes everywhere house and be like, oh, we're in the right place here. And I'd have a little sign, walk through the back.
You're absolutely in the right place. Just keep walking past.
And
Ignore
then
the
I would
house.
walk past and then it's like, yep, here we are. And it was so cool. And it actually served its purpose incredibly well. And I look back and I think, oh, those times, like now is awesome, but those times is like where it started. And those moments of, we still do pretty much everyone's hair that came to my home that now is in Manly. So then that transition was really interesting.
So when you were, you had a team when you were at home as well,
Yeah,
didn't you?
I actually never, again, because my why was always to spend time with kids. So it got to the point, and you have to like picture this. We live in an unrenovated pretty unrenovated home, 1 bathroom, 2 young kids, a husband who runs a business in a 3-bedroom small home, and then this little salon that's at the back of the home. So if someone needed to use the bathroom, they're walking in the house, opening the door that doesn't have a lock, and sometimes there's my husband on the toilet, there's sometimes my kids in the shower, and it got to the point where it's like, okay, this is just getting beyond a joke now because people just kept coming.
Yeah.
At one point we had 150 clients coming in our house a week.
Oh, how many staff did you have?
So I got to the point where I was Googling on the council website, how many employees can you have at home? Because we had 7 girls at home, and that is the max.
How many stations and basins did you have at this point?
So we had 2 to start. And I remember over the Easter holiday, I said to Joe, my husband's Joe, we need another station because I can't do this. Like we have people wanting to get in. We don't have the room. We have 1 basin. So at this salon, there were sliding doors that opened and we would do people's hair in front of the mirror, and then you'd go and sit out on my back deck under a heater in winter and under the shade in summer out in the open, which was actually perfect because it was COVID times.
Yeah.
And we had 1 portable basin, but we had to get another portable basin, which was around the corner of the house on the grass. So it was like,
oh my gosh.
I'm talking like when you talk home hairdressing, we did home hairdressing at its finest. But everyone loved it because what they had was a really good experience.
Yeah.
They had beautiful hair. And it really quickly transitioned because I was working for myself, and then I'm like, I need help because I've got so many people coming in. So I had to get an apprentice.
Yeah.
And then another girl contacted me, I would love to work for you. And I'm thinking, far out. Okay. And I just kept saying okay. And next thing you know, I'm
150
thinking,
clients a week, guys, is massive.
Massive. Yeah. And it's that point where me and my husband, we sat down and we're like, this has to change.
Yeah.
Because they deserve to have a shower or go to the toilet in peace. Everyone does.
Yeah.
And the kids, and again, we're kind of moving away from actually what was my why? My why was to be able to spend time with my kids, not having this mammoth thing running at the back of our home.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. And I think there's a season for everything.
Yeah.
But that season
we can never whinge about our small salons in the beginning. And
it was small.
You could never be like, my salon is a baby salon because 15 square meters, 7 staff.
15 square meters, like a big deck area, but the photos, which I just love, and I'll send you guys some because it's so cool.
I'm just envisioning it all in my head and I love it.
A table, and this is where when I see salons with tables, I'm like, community.
Yeah.
Our clients love us because they met people, they see people, they chat to people.
Yeah.
And I think more now than ever, people need community and relationships.
Oh, definitely.
And no one ever complained about sitting at a table, having a coffee with foils in or a tint on, chatting to someone.
No.
They loved it.
They love it.
Even in the chaos.
Because at the end of the day, your clientele are your ideal clientele, which means that you love community and they'll love community.
Yeah. And it actually, what it did was it set a really firm foundation of like, okay, it's time to move. And this spot came up in Manly and we just felt like it was the right time. And my husband said to me, is this going to be like big enough? Because we've got a lot of clients. And I said, the table in the middle. Like it's the only way.
Yeah.
Not because, yes, we need the space, but more so I'm not changing what our clients love. What our clients
and what
love
you built is
community. And so to this day, we have 19 staff. We still do our With Love campaign every year. So we've now ticked over $108,000 since we've started, $108,000.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Our community have never been stronger.
19 staff.
I want to go
You're a
into
superhero. I have to stop you on that. 19 staff is massive.
It is massive.
Massive.
So break down your 19 staff then. So you've got
Okay, we have, now you're challenging me. I've got 2 front of house.
Yep.
1 was a hairdresser, now just does training in front of house. She's actually currently on mat leave. I've got 1 pure front of house. Mm-hmm. Then I have about 3 assistants, casual, and they pretty much work the same shifts every week, sometimes more. They don't often do less. 5 apprentices.
Wow.
At different stages?
Yep. And then the rest are hairdressers.
Wow.
Cool.
And me. I'm a hairdresser too.
Yeah.
So, look, it is definitely, when I rewind and I think back to that day when I made that decision to start my own salon, did I ever think that it would be this? Absolutely not. But I am the queen of delegation, and I'm, as I said, the purpose part is my biggest accountability. And I just have people in my corner that is always encouraging me. And, you know, I've got a business coach who's awesome. I just think you just need people and you can.
We were talking about that before, right? Because you were like outsourcing. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
So
I think I've logged into zero since I started business twice. And it was because my bookkeeper was on annual leave, and I'm like, I need to know how many hours someone's got annual leave. And I'm like trying to navigate it.
But with, as you said, with 19 staff and 2 children, you have to, like, 19 staff has to be the queen of delegation, especially if you still want to do hair, because we were talking about this morning. It's like, we were talking about it with Mon actually, and she was like, 12 is like the sweet spot. Anything above that, you have to manage this team. It is a big,
which I love
beast.
that aspect.
Yep.
So I work on the floor 1 day a week. And to me, that's enough.
Yeah.
That I love
that keeps
hair.
that.
To me, when I'm doing hair, the girls know that I'm not their boss today. I'm one of them.
Yeah.
I'm with them in the trenches doing hair, and I love it.
Yeah.
And I've got an amazing manager in there who she just takes all the weight off me.
Yeah. Amazing.
And Carissa, my other manager, she's on mat leave. But yeah, Lena, who she actually is my sister-in-law too, which is awesome.
I love that.
But yeah, she knows me so well. She knows we're probably totally opposite personalities.
But it works.
Yeah. And so she can protect me from stuff as much as she can. And Carissa, who's on mat leave, she's also a hairdresser, but she does more training and stuff with the girls. So I've just got this team of people that we all work together. It's not easy having a big team, but I love the challenge of it. I love that. I think I heard this the other day from this beautiful woman who will be listening to this. Her name is Lisa, and she said to me, one of the hardest things is to be kind to someone that you don't get along with.
Yeah.
And I think, that is so true, because often in our job as salon owners, it's like we're not going to get along with everyone.
No.
But there's no reason we can't be kind to them. And again, when you think about purpose for me isn't just the finances that we give, but it's actually like, how can we get people to come in as they are? I don't have to get along with you. I don't have to go out with you on the weekend. Although all of my girls, we're all going to Fiji in a few weeks because we all get along amazingly. But
I love that.
Even if you don't, you can still be kind. You can still lead with love. You can still have good conversations, and hard conversations are often the best conversations.
I think that too really comes into that differentiation between real leadership and just being a manager. You know what I mean? Because that we've often spoken about that, being able to still put your heart into situations like that. You don't have to like everybody. No one in this world is going to like everybody. It's just impossible, but you can always be kind.
Always. And we sit down, so we do fortnightly team meetings. We do quarterly one-on-one meetings. But I think I have a conversation with all the girls at least fortnightly one-on-one at some point where I'm trying to just wrap them with my arms and going, all good?
Yeah.
How are you going today? How's your boyfriend? How's your mum? How are you finding that training course? How are you going on a Monday night? Like, just talk.
I think that's also so important, because we have to remember that we have such, like, my team is all young. Like, I have quite a young team, and I want to model to them as much as I do to my own daughters and to my sons what that looks like in kindness and what that looks like to be, to have that integrity and to be graceful and to be thoughtful. And I'm always one of my team members. She always just thinks, she's so observant. She always looks, Indy, I love you. So I'll tell you that I'm saying this, but she always just like notices when I've had my nails done or when my hair done, or she remembers what I've spoken about last week, and she'll always be like, how did this go? Or how are you feeling? And she's young. And I just said to her the other day, that means so much, because it's something I'm constantly thinking of how to check in with you guys. But the fact that you have that like awareness to check back in, just like that's one of the most special qualities that you have. And I want to keep fostering that. It's not just about fostering their ability in what they do, but it's also fostering who they are.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, maybe you guys are similar. I don't know if I'm different. But for me, the hair is like not the most important part here.
Yeah.
The hair I can teach.
But it's the
and
connection.
It's the connection. And people say,
people.
you can't teach bad personality or whatever the saying is. But I just feel like we can.
Well, I certainly think we can model
it.
And be a guidance to how you can behave.
And I'm not saying that everyone is going to work out. We've definitely had people that, you've interviewed and you think, oh, yeah, they're great. And then you're like, oh, okay, maybe they're not our culture.
Yeah.
They're not living our values and, lead. We've got very much a leader culture in our salon where there's no hierarchy. Doesn't matter who you are. If something needs to get done, we do it. But I think there's a lot to say in how we love others. And I know we get taught it starts in the home, and I agree with that, but how do we make our salon our home, and how do we get everyone, and what we do at Salon Purpose is like, so this is going to be our second overseas holiday that we all do together. And when people say, how can you do that? We do it because we all respect and love each other, and we just go, and everyone deserves it. And it's just part of who we are now. I just think that they work so hard, and that's, again, part of our purpose is to reward them.
I love that.
Yeah.
Again, and I think it's important to say to people before you probably, not necessarily the With Love campaign, but before you were started to do overseas trips, you were set up financially. Like behind, it's not like you're like, all right, chuck it on the Amex because we always say to people, your why has to also include how you financially take care of yourself and your family, because that's why we do it. But once you do that, that's when you have this ability
to be able to give
back
generously
and so much more. And I think even for me, like that's exciting because we got to that point and then we built this.
Yeah.
And then, you kind of strip out the ability to use that because you're building back what you'd stripped out. But getting to that point feels so exciting because you all of a sudden can give back, to charity, to humans,
to everyone,
to yourself,
to everyone,
to everybody in a way that, it's not and it's not about the Birkin bag for me or, it's about the community. How do you give back from that point so that feels...
Can we expand a bit on the With Love campaign?
Yep.
And just explain like what you do and how you do that with like each initiative that you run? Like because you do a different charity each time?
Yeah. So I when I first started it, my sister-in-law, who inspired me to start with One Chair, One Child. So they have an electrical business and they do one van, one child. And then my husband was like, I really like that. And he did One Chippy, One Child. And then I was like, oh, I can do One Chair, One Child. So
meaning you sponsor
every chair I had in my salon, I sponsored a child.
Yes.
So we had 2 children. And as the salon has grown, and we've now got 9 or 8. But I knew I wanted to give, but where that money went, I wasn't really that fussed with it. I knew as long as it was going to good places, for me, I was really open to the charities. So my heart is actually in international aid. I think that there's a lot of need in countries that don't have much at all, like clean water, like food. But there's also lots of need locally. So I knew I wanted to try and do everything. So I I change it every year. Every year I ask the girls, we partner with Pro Purpose. I'm not sure if anyone's heard of Pro Purpose. So it helps businesses give within their business.
Yeah.
So with those, they've got a few charities within it, and we just go, okay, this year, what are we going to give to? Sometimes I ask a client, sometimes I ask the girls. But as long as it's going to a good charity,
Yeah.
for me, as long as it's leaving us and going to someone who needs it, that's the important thing for me. So, yeah, it's very cool, and it feels so good. But it like when you were saying the numbers before, it didn't start big. And I think you have to be really intentional about it.
Yeah.
And so for me, a bit of background on me, and I think I'm speaking to a whole bunch of hairdressers that can say, yes, I understand you, is at school I struggled. At school I was always below par. I had to get my HSC read to me. My HSC was written for me. I did my HSC because I wanted to stay in school with my friends, not because I was benefiting academically. And when I left school, my mum said to me when all my friends went on their gap year, you're not going on a gap year, you need to get a job. And for me, I thought hairdressing was an easy job for dropouts. That was what I thought. That's what I believed. That's what my career advisor had advised me to do. So I started hairdressing thinking it was a bit of a dead-end job. And I kind of believed those lies for a while. You start to believe that. When I started hairdressing, my boss used to say, you're phenomenal at hair. Like I could do so well. I earned great money. But the things that were spoken was you'd never be good at running a salon because you're not good at numbers. And you've got to be good at numbers. You're just great at hair. And then again, you start to believe those things. And then when I first decided to open the business, I'm like, oh, I need to learn my numbers. And that's really scary for me because A, I'm not a very good reader. To this day, I still haven't read a book and terrible at numbers. I'm not sure how to use Excel spreadsheets, but I had to learn really quickly because what I didn't want was my business to fail because I didn't know my numbers. And so
did you find it easier to learn that because there was a purpose behind you needing to learn it?
The purpose for me was I need to allocate. So I need to know that each week this is what I need to bring in and each week this is what needs to go out. And I actually didn't do it weekly. I did it monthly.
And honestly, to anyone that's listening that doesn't do it, there is so much incredible power in that. I've been doing this 16 years and still to this absolute day I go, I did it last night because I knew today was busy.
Yeah.
And, you know, I heard it actually on the call the other day that we did, and she was like, what are you thinking about it? You know, think about what people are thinking about at 2 a.m. and it's how do I pay my wages? Is enough money coming in today to pay the wages?
Yeah, it's scary.
You know, how do I pay that stock bill? And being able to move people from that means that you get to give in this like a beautiful way that feels aligned, and it's really exciting because the other areas are controlled and safe. Because I realized that I talked about financial security, but it's not. It's financial safety for me. And, you know, for me it was financially being able to look after myself and my 3 children without the other support. And then when you get there, you just go, this is why. And then you can really move into that purpose role.
Yeah. And so I've always thought, and it only just clicked a few years ago probably, it's how can we be profitable, known for profit for purpose?
Yeah. Yeah.
And for me, I always knew how I could make money because I'm efficient, I charge really well, but that changes when you start to have a team and then you've got overheads and rent. So what I knew I had to do really well is I had to train my staff to work how I worked, which is what we do, and not losing their creativity. Not everyone's exactly the same, but in a roundabout way, what I know is this Salon Purpose will be always profit for purpose. And the purpose aspect and arm of it looks different, and we do that really well but differently in terms of it's financial, it's well-being, it's giving locally, it's giving globally, it's doing a whole heap of things. But it all stems down to, at the end of the month when I'm doing my P&Ls, how can we do this so things are allocated? There's an aspect for generosity. There's money going into generosity. There's money going into giving. There's money going into my tax account. And it all just gets divided up. So then I'm like, okay, can't do a big team thing this month, but maybe next month. You can just see it all there.
I think the thing too is, and I spoke about this on stories the other day, my pastor at church was talking about the 70-10-20, the 70-20-10 rule. And it was, 10% of giving with the church and then 20% of, your 70% of your income. So whether that be in the salon or whether that be personally, that's what should be allocated to all of the bills. Then you should have your 20% buffer. And that 20% buffer means that it's doing exactly what you can do. It means it's the trip for the team. It means, and that's in that 70% is your wage and your expenses and all of that, all the expenses to run whatever size business you have. But if if your bills are at capacity, if they're at 100%,
there's no room.
There's no room.
And people say how do I start creating profit in my business? If you're living to the 100%, never.
Yeah.
So you need to live to the 20, you need 70% of your expenses and then 30% of that extra. And then that gives you the wiggle room to be able to do exactly what you're doing. You'd get to the end of the month and if you're like, okay, it was at 70%. So I've got this money left over. What am I doing? What am I allocating with it? How can I enjoy it? And that's also with having buffers. I always talk about making sure you have a buffer in your account. You don't ever run it to zero. You have a buffer, especially with a team of 19.
Oh, yeah.
You've got to make sure
so
that
we've got our buffer.
If you have a quiet month, there's extra money sitting there. You don't ever spend beyond your means, which is what I see a lot of people do. Oh, I want to take my team on a holiday because other people are doing it, not
well, people
can we
get
afford
asked,
it?
And people ask me that all the time, how do you do what you do? But there's no simple answer to it. But something I would highly encourage is numbers. And what I see you guys teaching, I just go, it needs to be taught, because for me, I was incredibly blessed that I had someone teaching me that early in the piece. And it took me a while to kind of find my groove.
Because it's a hard concept when you're first learning to grab.
It's like learning how do you learn, like use a new muscle. It hurts at the start, but then you're like, okay, I feel like I'm kind of grasping this. And it's exciting because I think back in 2020 when I did it, I was like, amazing. And we're dealing with such a small amount.
Yeah.
And we're giving at the time it was big, but now I look back, I'm like, oh, that was small. But actually, if you do that every month and it all stacks up every month, like we're now at $108,000 that we've been able to give. But it all started with that $600.
Yeah.
So it just is like, intentional, generosity, heart-led, like it just keep doing it.
And there are simple ways that you can be giving that can make an impact in either your local community or international community as well.
Yeah.
Even I don't have a huge amount financially to give, but I am a member of Hair Aid and will give one Sunday a month to cut homeless people's hair. Sometimes it's your time that you can give.
And this is what I spoke about
again,
at festival.
It was at church. It was like, it's not just about giving is not just about finances. It's how can you give in other ways? How are you being generous with your time? How are you being generous with your love? And even for me, sometimes I think, it's in the little things like bringing dessert in for the girls.
Yeah.
It's the little things like that is the generosity in a different way that makes people feel seen and loved. And it might be, a client will come in, you don't charge them, and it's not because of anything other than a little bit of a backstory and you're like, I had that the other day. I had a woman that was in that I just randomly got to do her hair, and at the end she was like, it was way more than that. And I was like, I see you, and I just I'm really grateful that I got to take care of you today.
Yeah.
And then I sent her a message. Her daughter was getting married, so I sent her a message on that Sunday and made sure it's the generosity. And this is not me being like, oh my God, I'm so great, but I'm meaning in different areas. It doesn't have to be financial as hairdressers.
I can't say that louder is, yes, we're known for our 108,000, and yes, I'm incredibly proud of that. But I'm also incredibly proud of doing the Indigenous woman who lived on Manly Beach, who was homeless, who needed a haircut, who didn't feel comfortable going to any other salon but ours because she walked past to go to the toilet every day. And it wasn't until when she came in, and I still remember that moment of her, and I still think she probably didn't have a drink that morning because she was a bit nervous about coming in, and she came in and she was so quiet because usually she's swearing up and down, going to the bathrooms, but she was like, she put on her best behavior, and I thought, oh, how cool is it that we get to bless people? And I think it's not just the money's awesome, and if you can afford it and know your money, your finances and give, great. Please do it because our world and our community needs it. But if you can't, time, use what's in your hands. I'm huge. I'm huge with everyone going like, what is in your hand? And everyone's in different seasons. We've all got stuff going on, but I think we can all dig. And actually it's funny because you do sometimes think, okay, I feel like I've got it going on. But the other week I got to work early and it was freezing, and I was standing out the front, and I got dropped to work because my husband needed the car and I didn't have the salon key. So I was kind of waiting out the front, and the lady from the chemist next door, who I know pretty well, she's our neighbour, came out, hooked me under the arm and said, what are you waiting for? Let me take you for a coffee. And instantly I was like, oh, okay, great. And then I'm like, oh, far out. Like, it's so nice to be blessed. Like, we often are the ones giving, but I'm like, oh.
When somebody does it back for us.
And it felt so, all day I'm like, oh, I got taken for a coffee this morning by my neighbour who saw me just standing out the front because I was early to work. I didn't have a salon key. It was a bit cold, and we went and got a coffee, and I thought, wow, that made my day, and I talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
So there's there's lots to say about what generosity looks like and actually what have we got in our hands, because everyone's different. Everyone's in different seasons, and I think we can only do what we've got.
And then we also forget that we have so much of a chance to do that through just an appointment, just who we are. Yeah. I went for a procedure this morning, and the woman that was my nurse, I've met her before, turns out, but I'm like a long time ago, but I found out that she was my sister's neighbour. So she was like, how are the kids? Are you still hairdressing? How's the salon? And in my fear-filled, just wanted to cry the whole time, I just felt so looked after, because she was like, and she sat behind me, and it was like, this woman, I can't even remember meeting, and she just made the biggest impact to my life.
Yeah.
That was not her job to do, but it was like, but who she is made the biggest difference on my life, you know, and I think we forget that in those moments, you know, that's her job. So she's used to it. She sees it all the time. So some people become cold to that. And I think we forget that as well when someone comes in. And I spoke to my girls the other day and said, we may be the only touch that they have for the next month.
Yeah.
They may not have a partner, or they may not have, we may be the only ear that listens to their stories over and over again because there's no one else to listen. And that means more than anything else. The hair is the best bonus point, but
hair is just
it just has to be
hair's
about
just
the
cherry on top.
It is, isn't it? And I also on that think sometimes as hairdressers we can often see our clients as just, it's like kind of transactional.
Yeah.
But actually if we can just stop and go, this is someone's daughter that we're doing.
Yeah.
And they might have saved for a long time for this appointment, or they might be getting a loan for this appointment, or paying on a credit card or whatever. So we can't just treat people as transactional and actually go spend time, ask questions, not just about their hair, but actually about them. And build relationships. And I think when I wind back the clock to 2020 and I was starting to grow my clientele, I'm like, oh, I need to build relationship with these guys. And that's what came really easily to me.
Yeah.
Because when you do that, you've got the relationship there. So
I also think, and I just, again, you know, anyone that's listening, take this how you want to take this, but I think the reason why you are so successful is because you are so blessed by a higher power because of what you do. Like, you're successful because you give back in every possible way. You have this so of course you would be continuously blessed because with every dollar you make is every dollar you give back. Why wouldn't you be extremely blessed? And I think we need to remember it like that. I feel, and anyone that's listened to this podcast for a long time, very transformed because I have been back in church. But I think on that, why wouldn't you be, if you're going to keep giving, why wouldn't you be blessed more? Because you're going to give more of that. And
exactly.
that's why there needs to be more people in this world that are doing that, because, generosity builds more generosity in people, in each other, in kindness, in every possible form. Because as you said, how many times have you told that story about going for a coffee and then somebody else is going to think about doing it?
Yeah. My sister-in-law always says to me, Alana, the world of the generous gets larger and larger, but the world of the stingy gets smaller and smaller. Again, on that, and I just want to make sure people are hearing this going, oh, it's not just about the money, but it can be going, okay, once a week, I'm just going to take someone out for a coffee. Text someone. Text someone, I'm thinking about you. I hope you're well. If you need it, it can be anything. But what I was actually going to say before as well is I think that the three facets for me is like generosity with our finances, generosity with our time and stuff, but also like the coolest thing for me, which is what I've witnessed in the last 5 years, which I never thought I would have, was actually the parents of these young hairdressers contacting me. Which I still, to this day, when they call and talk to me, I'm like, I feel like I'm your daughter's age. Even when I look in the mirror, I'm like, okay, I'm not. But
oh, mate, I'm going to do a reel this week that's like so weird. Me born in 1987, still being 25, and all my team in 2020 being 25.
I know.
I look at them and I'm like, we're the same age, right? But you're all like 15 years younger than me.
Yeah, I feel you there. I'm like, I'm your age. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
But when they talk to you and they actually are genuinely, and sometimes with tears, so thankful that they're working for you, I'm like, okay, they're heart full, tick. Like, job done well. And it's not because I'm teaching them these fancy balayage tricks. 100%. That is not why they are working for me.
Them to be good people.
I'm teaching them that it's okay to give. It's okay to love. It's okay to talk. It's actually okay to be unwell and still come to work, and for us to put your hands around you and go, it's okay, together we can do it together. And I think there's so much to say about culture and team culture, and we don't need to get caught up in the industry as being like, yes, solo hairdressers, yes, like this. It's actually like more now than ever, we need a culture that is community.
Yeah.
And people that talk.
And that can be made up of all things.
All things.
Yeah.
Like far and wide. And when I get these phone calls or the mums come in and they're just like, oh, I'm so thankful because I was actually really worried about what she was going to do when she left school, and and I just think, oh, I hope my daughter works for someone like me, where like I can have that conversation and go, thank you, because I can tell you my parents, when I started my apprenticeship, would have been the same. Thank you, because she's happy.
And that, I feel like I found that for me was a driving force to have more young ones. Like, I've only got one because there's just me, but it's that I want that sort of environment for my children.
Yeah.
But how can I be part of that solution for other people's children? You know, like, I have to be providing that and leading in that way to hopefully have other people do it for, you know, my own kids, because it's really important. Young people are important.
Yeah, and I think it is different to when we were young.
Yeah.
Like, we would go to work on a good day, bad day, and I feel like you just kind of didn't really talk about it. You just kind of got the job done and go home and whatnot. Whereas you have to ask questions now. You have to read the room, and you actually have to help.
Yeah.
And actually show up. And I think I couldn't do my job well if I was on the floor any more than one day a week. And I might not be in the salon all the time with my girls, but they know that I'm a phone call away and that I'm here and I'm their biggest cheerleaders. I'm here on their best days and I'm also here on their worst days. And I'm sure that there's going to be people listening going, I didn't sign up for that. I'm their boss. And that, yeah, I agree. You are their boss. But I want to grow an army of hairdressers that stay with me long term, that flourish, that I can pay them well, that they can buy cars, houses, whatever, and that they feel like they're part of something. That is the culture that they would bring.
And that's really important. I mean, that was one of the things we uncovered, like when they looked into what the young people are wanting to do, it is still to have that security to be able to buy a car, buy a house.
Yeah,
like they
100%.
still want to have that financial safety, and we have to look at ways that we can make sure we can provide that for them.
Yep. And to provide a salon where when you have kids, great, go and be a mum.
Yeah.
And know that when you want to come back to work, your job's here because you can actually work and be a mum.
Yes.
You can do it.
If anything, I think you're better at it.
Yeah.
You need to become so much more efficient.
And so we've got, 4 mums, probably almost 5 mums now in the salon. And there's a lot of people that go, oh, but for me, I'm like, it's great because they love it. They get to come to work. They know they've got security. They still get to earn good commission. They earn a great wage and life's good. So, I'm big in culture, if you didn't already notice. Loud and clear.
But probably not without times where you're like, burn it down. This is exhausting.
Yeah. I think that's like, we all have good days and bad days. And I'm sure my staff, there's times where they're like, oh, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like that's normal to have. And I often say this in our meetings. I talk about all the stuff that you probably shouldn't, or maybe it's awkward. I never leave anything under the rug and I bring it out.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, and I think it's so healthy.
I said that the other day. I said, because we had a meeting where it was like, what's something that we do well? What's something that we don't do well? And they were like, we do our family well. Like our culture's so good and we love each other and stuff. And I was like, guys, there are always going to be days you don't want to come to work. It's still
It's
work.
your job.
It's
It's a job. It's still work. It's still
Yeah.
like I'd rather be lying on a beach today or lying in bed or watching a movie. But I was like, and I have those days too. Like I'm like, it's just because it's mine doesn't mean I don't have those days. But then the minute I walk in the door, I think, why would I want to be anywhere else? This place is hilarious.
Yeah.
I love it. It gives me so much purpose. And I always walk out of here feeling so good. And I was like, as long as you all walk out of here feeling so good, I'm doing my job right every day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so true.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now, key takeaways. If someone is looking maybe to see what they can do to give more within their business. Okay, so what was the place that you said you partnered with? That
Pro
helped?
Purpose.
So Pro Purpose is
yep.
definitely something we need for the show notes. But what other things would you sort of like recommend?
Yeah. So I would say when you know your numbers, not if, but when you do, because that's the most important thing. My biggest takeaway would be start small. What you don't want to happen, I think, is going, that sounds great, I'm going to do that and throw all my eggs in one basket and then actually get a year down the track and go, oh, far out, I wish I never did that. I wish I never sponsored that child because now I can't afford it and I'm in arrears.
Yeah.
Like that's
and
not,
also, guys, don't do it unless this like feels so right in your body.
Exactly.
That there's no point of giving if you're giving to get
Yeah,
everyone
it's
going,
not.
whoa,
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, like
So it has to
it
be.
has to be, because at the end of the day, if no one knew that you were doing it, you would still be doing it. You have to do it. And I think the special thing is listening to you say that, I love the fact that the With Love is here's when you got the clients to give back, because that actually makes a purpose rather than being like,
I'm going to give $600 before I even started.
Yeah, or I'm going to give $600, but no one actually knows I'm doing it and no one actually knows that they're giving back at the same time by coming here. I think that's really special, like getting your clients to give back.
Yeah.
I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah. So that, I think that the biggest takeaway to that answer to that question would be don't go in too big.
Yeah.
You can always go bigger. You can always
also
get to the end and do more.
The value of
100%
something small,
Yeah.
of making a small difference.
Yeah.
You know, there's a ripple effect to that.
Yeah. And that small difference might be whatever, X amount per month, week, whatever. Or it could be, I'm going to take one person for coffee. Like it can be anything, but start small.
And you can also have different buckets. So if you're like, okay, financially, I get to the end of my week, everything's paid for.
Yeah.
Everything's paid for, the buffer's there, and we made $1,000 profit, then maybe take 10% of that or 20% of that and put it in different buckets.
Yeah.
That's going to be my team bucket that I give back to them. That's going to be a charity bucket that I give to that charity, and maybe just leave those buckets for a little while until you know that that's safe and secure.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
so
I
that
agree.
it feels, okay, I feel safe enough to do this.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how you do it or what it looks like, but the whole point of giving is not so you're like, oh, I'm going to give and now I'm going to look like a rock star.
Yeah.
It's like, don't do it like that.
Yeah.
Do it in a way that is like,
And find something that feels good, that you align with,
Yeah.
that you're like, yep, I'm passionate about women, whatever.
Yeah.
Find something that sets you on fire.
Yeah.
For me, I always felt I was a little bit different, and I think this does exist, is I was like, as long as it goes, it's filling my tank.
Yeah. Yeah.
But for other people, they might go, oh, I know, I'm actually really aligned with mothers.
so hold on to it until the right thing comes
Yes.
along. You might find
Correct.
that there is a group that comes along that someone, I always feel like if you've got that sitting there and you speak it out enough, it will come to you.
Yeah.
It will be presented to you. So
Yep.
keep it into that until it's presented. And, you know, you might be able to help a young mum that doesn't have any of the stuff. You might be able to go buy her all the things. And, you know, or you might have, you know, there's so many GoFundMe pages of like people that are close to you that you get to like, you know, we do that a lot with our clients. We get to give back to them, you know, and support their charities and support what they're going through, or support their sister, or support like that. You know, when we have social media where we follow our clients, that feels aligned because then we're actually giving back to the people that give to us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, totally.
at the end of the day, it's if you can do it in a safe way that feels amazing and fills your cup, but financially, as you said, know your stuff first.
It has to come out of profit.
Yeah.
It can't.
And I think you speaking about the struggles that you had means that for you to step up and take ownership of those numbers, knowing the fear that you already had and the beliefs that you had been given around your ability to do that, we can all do that.
Yeah. Got to get out of your own
Yeah,
way.
exactly right. Everybody has, you know, if you just need the right support and the drive, and you can do it. We can all do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's not, and I think that's powerful, you saying that. You were like, haven't read a book, don't know my numbers, but I had to learn because you can't just give it over to someone and hope for the best. You need to learn how to do it yourself first.
And I don't say that lightly. It is hard to overcome that. It is hard when you're spoken, you're dumb, you're stupid, all through school. You know, I got my L's on my 10th go. I can't believe I'm saying that publicly on a podcast, but, you know, there were so many struggles in my life. I did sport at 11 sessions a week at sometimes my whole life, and then all of a sudden it stops and you go, okay, well, didn't really make there. Well, you know, I think there's so many lessons in life that can tell you that you're not good enough.
Yeah.
But actually you have to flip that and go, I am good enough, and enough might just mean a little bit to start and a bit of teachings, and there's people around you that you just need to get to help you, and you can do everyone can do anything. They just need to get a little bit uncomfortable and ask for help.
100. That, friends, is where we all need to be leaning into.
I just want to cry through this whole podcast because it's so beautiful.
It's
probably
so
the most
beautiful.
beautiful podcast we've ever had in my life. Thank you.
Yeah.
This
thank you so much.
Just feels like it definitely was a message for me today, because I have also been thinking, like, we give a lot personally, but I have been thinking, what does it look like for the business?
Yeah.
And this just is many.
I did notice that this was quite a timely topic.
For me? Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, really?
But yeah, it's just such a, like, we have the capabilities of doing so much. So what are we doing it for?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I don't want to, and also that word that we talked about, like, what do you want your presence to be in this life? And for me, it's like that kindness and giving and, you know, just soft and, you know, how can you support somebody else that may not be having a good day? And like, what are the little things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because all of the little micro things are what make a difference.
The 1%ers, they say.
That's it.
All the 1%ers.
Yeah.
It's all about the 1%ers. Nicki, thank you so much.
I'm so grateful. Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming and sharing. I know that, anyone who listens to this is going to get great insight. And I'm so grateful for you being here and for the work that you do. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap that one up and we'll be back soon.
Bye.
Bye.